And I was worried I wouldn't have anything to preserve today. Hello friends, welcome back to Bucket List Homestead, and I am feeling pretty good today. You know why I'm feeling so pretty good today? All of you. I've been reading some of your comments on my last couple of videos, and I cannot tell you what they mean to me. It's making me feel pretty darn good, and with the world the way it is right now and so much going on, we all could use a little bit of good right now. So thank you for all of your kind words and amazing comments. I appreciate them more than I can actually correctly put into words. So that being said, today is day 24 of Aerobic Camps Challenge. 24, right, Grace? Yes. Okay. I'm telling you, I just lose my track of my days. Anyway, it's day 24, so we have exactly 1 week left of the Aerobic Counts Challenge. And when I went to bed last night, I was a little worried about what am I going to preserve today. And as always, the garden provides. So I got up early. I'm always up early, but I went out to the garden early. And in my pajamas, am I the only one who gardens in their pajamas? Please let me know down in the comments that I'm not. And I also put a sweater with a hood on because the mosquitoes are so bad. They're so bad. They really ruin the garden experience. They really do. Anyway, as I said, I went out, and as you've seen in the beginning, I found lots that I was able to harvest. Now, it may not be tomatoes, and it may not be peppers, and it may not be squashes, but they are still very important things that I use in my cooking, in my natural skin blends, eventually in soaps, what have you. They're very important. Broths, I'm just looking at everything I picked, trying to think what I use that all for. So yes, the garden provided this morning. So some of these things you've already seen me preserve, and you're going to see them again because that's what I have growing. I also have both my dehydrators set out today. Well, my Excalibur is always out. This was always out, but I just put it away not too long ago, but I've hauled it back out because we've got a lot to dehydrate today. So I've already washed everything to save some time. And there's a couple of new things you haven't seen me preserve, so that's going to be exciting. So first, I'm going to start with my onions. So I just pulled, well, I only meant to pull 2, and 3 came out. So I pulled 3 of my, I call these purple. They're called red onions to me. They're purple, whatever. This one is not too bad a size. These ones are obviously very small. They're not ready. I'm hoping by September-ish, they're going to be a little bigger. I don't mind this if it's just a teeny bit bigger, because quite frankly, I'm the only one who eats the purple onions in this house. And a large, huge one goes to waste. Well, it doesn't go to waste because I do save it for broths. But you know what I mean? Like, I'd like to be able to just cut up one and eat it. So this actually is not a bad size. A little bit bigger and it'll probably be perfect. But I'm still gonna eat them. I'm not gonna waste them. So I'm gonna let these cure to dry. Make sure all the dirt's off because I'm not making that mistake, and let them cure out where I had the garlic actually in our garage. And these will be going into my salsas when the tomatoes decide to give me enough at one time to make. I'll actually show you my setup in the other room with on the table of all I've got sitting there waiting. I'll show that at the end of this video. So yes, so we did get some onions and we got some new things. I'm so mad that I did not think to harvest because I actually drink hibiscus tea and it's expensive. And I have several hibiscus flowers growing. I love them. I actually bring them in the winter because I can't bear to see them die, and they're expensive. And I'm like, why aren't I preserving my own hibiscus for hibiscus tea? And so I've got 2, and I'm just looking at my plant out on the deck is loaded with blooms. So we'll be getting some off of them too, because especially now that we're getting near the later of the year, I rather have the hibiscus in my house drying than looking pretty on my deck. So I want to tell you just how good hibiscus is for you. Yes, I have notes because I will never remember it. So hibiscus is really good for helping to lower if you have high blood pressure. And I am on medication. I finally had to go on. We just could not get it down. Mine, it's health related, but it's not it's not like my diet or anything. I had blood clots in my chest. Thank you, chemo. A couple of years ago. And even though the blood clots are all gone, they leave behind like a scar on your vein. So it's causing my blood to pump that much harder, hence the high blood pressure. So yes, I am on medication. It's better than having a stroke or a heart attack. But this can actually help lower blood pressure. So between that and my pills, I'm hoping I'll be good to go. It's actually under control with my medication, but certainly doesn't hurt. And it also will help lower blood sugar levels, which is really good. And this can help prevent degenerative damage from disorders like stroke and diabetes. They're very high in vitamin C. It's loaded with vitamin C. I should have looked up the exact numbers, but they're very high in vitamin C, which of course we all know helps support a healthy immune system and can help prevent viruses and infections, which is really good going into the sicky season. It also, I did not know this, a weight loss aid. Hibiscus has been shown, sorry, something coming up on my phone. Hibiscus has been shown in scientific studies to promote weight loss and prevent obesity. So that's not a bad thing either. And since there has been no reported anyway serious side effects associated with hibiscus tea, it's safe to drink. Now that being said, just because nothing's been reported doesn't mean somebody hasn't had a reaction. I have drank hibiscus tea a lot, so I know I'm okay, but obviously you have to make the choice for yourself. So, you know, take that as you will. So yeah, I'm pretty excited. The other thing we're going to be dehydrating is nasturtiums. And I've got quite a few different colors here because I grew a new one. So these are the ones I usually grow. And then I grew the one, they're called romantic nasturtiums, and they're reds and some pinks. They're also very high in vitamin C. I should have put out my notes for that. I'll try and put something up here if I can find it. I know they're high in vitamin C. They help with a lot of things. So we're going to turn those into dehydrated flowers for tea. I also like to feed them to my chickens. They're really good for them, and they're supposed to be a natural dewormer, like with pumpkin. So even if I don't necessarily use them all, I'll feed them to my chickens in their feed throughout the winter. The same as some of these herbs, like apple mint, the chocolate mint, the lime balm, the lemon balm. A lot of them I will preserve and feed them to the chickens in their food in the winter. So I also got another big harvest of celery. I'm so excited. I dropped some. So this I'm not going to be dehydrating. This I'm going to get washed. I think this is the only thing I haven't washed. Yeah, so we still got to wash up the celery. But I'm going to freeze this, and we'll be using it for broths going forward. Gosh, it smells good. So this is off of one plant that I didn't cut. I'm just going to show you all I got here. This is off of one plant I didn't cut, and 2 plants I did harvest from, and they came back. And I may just get one more. Who knows? We'll see how our fall goes. But that is a good amount of celery. So, and I got my basil. Hasn't been doing as great as last year. I really wish I had dehydrated a lot more of it last year. But I got a nice little handful off my trimmings, so we're not going to let them go to waste. Again, oregano is not so great this year. I might have to actually go buy some more at our U-Pick farm because they actually have some too. Because I definitely like my oregano dehydrated than the things we buy in the store. Oregano and basil I use a lot of. I use them every Friday in my homemade pizza sauce and spaghetti sauce. And I mean, there's so many things. I put them in with my roast chicken, my roast beefs, my roast pork. I mean, there's so many things we use those for. So I definitely need more. I know we don't have enough to take us through. I don't know if my oregano plant's just too old. He is 8 years old now, so I don't know if he's getting, you know, if that's a thing, if they can get too old. So we will see. Another big thing of apple mint and a huge amount of chocolate mint. Look at that. Like, that's a lot. And I also harvested a whole bunch of spearmint out of the big pot I'm growing on the deck here. Our deck. So I've already got those 2 trays loaded in the dehydrator. So that, the apple mint and the chocolate mint, I'm going to dehydrate together. They're all mints. I mean, there are a few that have a little bit different smell, but they're pretty much all mint. So I'm going to get them going into the Excalibur, the nasturtiums, and the hibiscus. I knew it would come to me. They are going to go into my Nesco dehydrator. The basil, I'll probably just let dry on its own for now. The flowers won't take that long, so once the flowers are done, I'll move the basil and the oregano probably into the Nesco. Okay, enough yabbering, let's get to work. Okay, so as always, I'm going to use one of my silicone liners to help. And what did I say I was going to do? Mint. So I got, like I said, 2 trays of spearmint already in the top. Well, you know what? You're all going to get dehydrated, so we'll just push you over there. I need more space. And this is my apple mint. And I gave everything a good wash. I'm not worrying about washing off pesticides because I don't use any, but you know, there is definitely some dirt splashed up on them from the rain, and of course it helps take care of any bugs that might be crawling around on them. I soak them in cold water for a couple of minutes and then give them a good rinse. Ended up with 3 trays of apple mint, and I have 3 trays of spearmint. I think I said 2. But I actually have 3. So now we're going to work on the chocolate mint. And this is one of my favorites. I find it has a stronger mint smell than a lot of the others. And mint's one of those herbs I find the dehydrator does not seem to take away their fragrance or their taste because they are so strong. Now, I have this tool for stripping herbs, and I have to tell you, I don't think it's all that great. I've been trying to use this for a couple of years now, and either I'm not using it right or I'm expecting more out of it, like I find like they're still on their stems, so you still have to pull them off the stems. So let me know, do you all use one of these? Like, am I crazy? I don't, maybe I'm expecting more out of it. Maybe that's what it is supposed to do. I don't know. It just seems like a lot of work. And then I end up having to pull them all off anyway. Let's see, that's too big a hole. Let's try this one. You try it again. Like, is that what I'm supposed to be expecting? Yeah, it took it off the main stem, but there's still a whole bunch on this stem. So maybe I'm expecting too much out of it. I will say, whoops, I like this part of it. It's very, very sharp, and it's good for chopping up herbs really fine. So I like it for that. But honestly, I find I move much quicker if I just strip these myself. Let's see how many trays we get of the chocolate mint. I have a feeling it's going to be more than 2. That Excalibur is going to be full. I might not even have enough trays for all the mint that I'm dehydrating today. So it is full. All 9 trays with different mints. The house is going to smell amazing today. So I'm going to put it on 105 and we'll let that go. And hopefully on day 25, tomorrow, or even day 26, you will see all that done. Now, I think I will get going on the hibiscus here and the nasturtiums. And don't forget to clean out your dehydrators. I vacuumed out my Excalibur today. Anything that was loose in there. There. That's better. So that's my bottom. Alright, Nesco. I don't think it's going to take all these trays. So we will start with this one. this will be the nasturtiums. Okay, 1 tray of nasturtiums. How pretty is that? And for the hibiscus, you do want to remove this, and you want to remove the green part, okay? So this is all we want. How beautiful is that? They don't have much of a scent. So we pull off the green, pull out the stamen. This one doesn't want to come out as nice. There we go. And there's those. I don't want to have just 2 trays going in my Nesco. So this is lime balm. Lime is actually one of the flavors that you can add to your hibiscus tea. So if they do have a little bit, I'm going to put a couple trays in between and hope that my nasturtiums and my hibiscus don't necessarily taste like lime balm. But it wouldn't necessarily be a bad thing because I would probably mix lime balm with the hibiscus flowers for a tea anyway. So, oh, this smells so good. I wish we had smell-o-vision. It's amazing. So we're going to do a couple of trays of the lime balm too in the Nesco. 3 trays of lime balm going in to the Nesco. My house is going to smell so good today between the mint dehydrating, the lime balm. Okay, so we got to plug this in. Where's my cord? There it is. Okay. So we're going to do temp is 95 for herbs, and hibiscus and all of them are considered, you should be dehydrating them on the same temperature as herbs. And we're going to do 24 hours. Okay. So if you do not have a dehydrator, you can absolutely dehydrate all these things in a very, 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 very low oven, as low as your oven will go. Mine does not go low enough. I did practice just to see what would happen, and it didn't work for me in my oven. You can also use the good old-fashioned sun. Lay them all out in the sun for a couple of days and dehydrate. You know, that's what they did before we had dehydrators. So, okay, we've got our mints all done. Our lime balm is done. And now I'm just going to destem the basil and get them, I'm just going to put them on a plate to get them drying out. So this is basil that's been drying for a couple of weeks. I'm going to put that in my jar. I'm not going to grind it down yet, not until I probably get this next batch all dehydrated. Smells good. It says spearmint, but this is not spearmint. I just reuse my plates. Okay. So these ones don't feel quite done, so I'm going to leave them on this plate. And there we go. So we're getting there. I need many, many more jars of that. And I just leave this little paper that says basil on it because I am not the only one in my house. So if anyone moves things around or whatever, or if I ask them to go out and get me it, they'll know what it is. So I'll show you. If you remember, I've been using that clothes line. What's the word I'm looking for? Clothes rack. I am using that clothes rack for all my herbs right now, and I will show you. We ran out of room where we were keeping it, and I'll show you why in just a few minutes, but I will show you where I moved it to. Now, I'm showing you where I moved it to because I consider us friends, so no judgment on the state of our garage, please. It is a work in progress. Absolute mess because we are actually going to be building a room in here for the treadmill and things going forward for the winter. So yeah, it's a mess. So I'm going to try and show you as little of it as I can. But this is where I've moved my clothes rack out here with the herbs on it. So we've just moved it out here because it was taking up way too much room. And I see my sage is starting to fall. So that probably means it's drying up. I'm thinking this oregano is probably ready to put into jars. You can see how you don't always have to have a dehydrator. That's my more marshmallow that I harvested. They're hanging. And I just get these hooks. Both these hooks come from the Dollar Tree. These right here. These are great. These are my favorite. I've had these ones a long time too. They work. So, yes. They're all out here. And this is where I'll be setting it up to put my onions. It all held the garlic. And those worked perfect. So, we're going to bring the onions in here too. Okay. So, I'm going to just try and brush off as much of this dirt as gently as I can. Okay, that one seems better. And you shouldn't water your onions for a day, like a couple of days, honestly, before you pick them. And our sprinkler has not been on. They are wet, but it's just from the dew this morning. We haven't had rain for a couple of days, and I didn't put the sprinkler on last night because it was supposed to rain, and it didn't. So I'm going to have to run the sprinkler today. So, okay, so we want to get the dirt off the root. And you absolutely can use this part of the green, this part of the onion, the green part rather, much like the scapes of the garlic. Okay. Not very big, but that's okay. They're still edible, they're still tasty, and they are still strong. Like the onion smell coming off of them is crazy right now. So I'm gonna go put them on the racks in the garage. Celery, but I have one more thing I wanted to mention. A couple weeks ago, well, it's been a while, I had mentioned that our youngest, our son Aiden, he's our only son, he's 16, and he desperately has been trying to get a job since he turned 16. And I have lost count, I think 17, 18, 19, maybe even 20 places he's applied to for jobs and was getting zero. Zero calls for interviews, zero anything. And he was feeling pretty discouraged. I mean, this is a kid who wants to work. He wants to start earning money. He knows he needs to save for a car. He has to save for insurance, school, whatever he's going to do. He needs to start earning some money. Well, I asked all of you to pray for him, please, on one of my lives, that if something finally came through, because he had just applied to a new place. And he has some news to share.
I have got a job now.
Yay! So he actually got the one that we, look at the difference. I feel like, yeah. Anyway, he loves it. It was actually the job that you applied to that I asked people to pray that he would get it. And where are you going to be starting your job? He had an interview yesterday. They called him yesterday morning, set up the interview. 10 minutes later, he had the job, and you start.
I'm working at Dollar Tree.
And when do you start?
Today at 5.
Yeah.
It's in a couple of hours.
He has his first training shift tonight. So, high five. We're very proud of him. So excited. I'd hug him, but he just ran. Yeah. So, bleh. But yeah, so and I'm happy because besides HomeSense, which is like TJ Maxx, they're all owned by the same HomeSense, Marshalls, Winners. Here in Canada, they're owned by Marshalls, TJ Maxx. Besides HomeSense and Michael's, Dollar Tree is probably my absolute favorite store in the world. So we're so proud of him. So thank you all who prayed. Prayer works. And Aiden's starts his job tonight, so he's pretty excited. Gives him, school goes in a little less than 2 weeks, so it gives him kind of a good 2 weeks before school goes in. So it's only nights and weekends, which is all he can do anyway, because he is still in high school. But yeah, he told them he could start immediately, and they weren't kidding when they said perfect. So okay, the last thing we have to process and preserve is my celery. So I washed and I dried off quite a bit of the celery. I had a few pieces that weren't too great, so I just cut them off. And I'm only cutting them in pieces just so they'll fit in my medium-sized bags. We're almost out of the large ones, so. And I'm not going to vacuum seal them. I'll be using these fairly quick in broth soon because I've had to use a lot of broths or some of the things I've been making. So I'm just going to leaves everything. And I'm going to do a couple of bags because this, like one full bag, that's like a batch of broth right there. Okay. So I think I'm going to get 2 bags out of this, which is fabulous. 2 bags of celery for the freezer. Oh. We have both dehydrators going, 2 bags of celery. I even filled a little jar with dried basil from basil I've been drying. So the only bad thing about days like this is you don't get to see like all the herbs and things in jars in this video anyway. You'll see them eventually, but just not in this video. But that is another good day. And oh, I promised I'd show you what's in our other room on tables. For those of you who are new, this room, which is off our kitchen, and yes, I have curtains hanging here. This is my room, so this helps give me a little bit of privacy. This room we're in is what we call our store because we have our stockpile, our store, what we call it, and this is all my canning on this thing here. And that's David's laptop, actually my old one, his now. But yes, and then the other half of the room is crafts, which is an absolute mess, so again, no judgment. I'm trying to get to it. I'm hoping today I can work some more on it. We will see. There's so many more things to do. Anyway, what we have in here is our harvest setup. This way it's not on my kitchen table, so we can actually, you know, eat at the kitchen table. But these are we bought a bushel of pears, local pears, when we got closer to home from our trip to Ottawa. So, and they're over here too on our TV trays. So I'm just waiting for them to ripen up some more. Obviously, tomatoes that are starting to blush, and it doesn't take long. I actually probably have a small bag, and these are the Amish paste tomatoes, and I think that's all. This might be a long keeper. I'm not 100% sure. It doesn't look like an Amish paste, so I think it might just be these ones here. Might just be small long keeper tomatoes, so I'm going to set them aside for now. But those I won't put in the freezer. Because long keeper tomatoes, the whole point is that you can store them for a long time. And then we've got some peppers that are taking forever. They're actually getting pretty soft. These ones are finally starting to turn. And I try to pick them when I just start seeing, like this one here, you can see it's just starting to turn color. So hopefully that won't be that long. These are starting to turn color. So hopefully salsa making will be happening sooner than later. We're only down to like a couple of jars. So again, we need to get that going. And I'm hoping the pears, no, they are, I'll look through them. Hopefully I'll have, maybe I can start making a few jars. We'll see. But yeah, so this will get much bigger as time goes on. Once the pears are out of here, I can start bringing in more peppers and stuff. But waiting, hurry up and wait, military motto. Well, it's also the motto for gardeners. That wraps up day 24 of Every Bit Counts Challenge. We'll see you back here tomorrow for August 25th, the 25th day of Every Bit Counts Challenge. I can see the finish line. We'll see you tomorrow.